Okay, so Matt's going to come up here and talk to how you can get to the 7-figure level. So, again, loud as you can, Matt Lloyd again.
All right. Thanks. So guys, I actually, my mind's a little bit ADD sometimes and I forget to do things. I was actually meant to hand out some checks just then, and I actually completely forgot. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have a little presentation that it's actually my favorite part of doing what I do, right? I like making money in my business, but what I really love is seeing you guys get commissions. That's what gets me excited. When I see a titanium and platinum sale coming in, very first thing I do, and you can ask anyone on the phone team, anyone on our team, is I ask, whose was it? Who got the commission? Because I love knowing who got the commission, and then one of my favorite things to do is to go and tell them. I send them a message, and it might be on Facebook. Sometimes I'll call them. And because I'm in Australia and I'm on a completely different time zone to most of you, sometimes I'll wake you up. I'll call you at like 3 a.m. And usually people are a little bit annoyed. They're like, who's this? But when I tell them, hey, you just made $8,000, they're okay with it. All right? So what I want to do now is I want to bring some people up who have been working really hard to do well in Mttb, and they deserve our recognition. What we've done is we've actually had some big checks put together, and I'm simply going to hold up the checks, and when I call out your name, I want you to come up and I want you to stand here on stage and hold out your check. So, who have we got first of all? Let's have a look. All right, first check goes to Michael Morin for $6,203. Michael has been in Mttb for 30 days. Platinum member. Well done, buddy.
Thank you.
All right. So if you want to stand over here. And by the way, like I said, he's got his first titanium commission. He's got another 2 on the way, and I know he's going to get a platinum commission soon. So when he does, that's going to go to $15,000. I'll tell you what, we're going to keep on having these supercharged seminars throughout the year, and you're going to watch his check will go up. I guarantee you he's going to be doing very well here very soon. So who do we have next? Justin Tillman. Now Justin Tillman was a bad boy because he didn't come. So I'm keeping his money. That's why you've got to get to Supercharge. Bruce is going to come up and accept it on his behalf. But Justin Tillman, $17,387. Justin, thanks Bruce. Justin is a young guy. I believe he's from New York. I think he's about my age. And Mttb is a side income. Okay, some people come into Mttb, they learn marketing, and then they go and create their own companies. And Justin's actually done that. But it's not bad. A side income, 17 grand, right? Not too bad. All right, our next one. And this is quite funny. Every time, or once in a while, I'll hear people say, well, I only want the good leads. I don't want like the leads from Nigeria or, Philippines or whatever. Believe it or not, there are actually people in Nigeria who buy and who have money. And one of the guys is this guy, Osahon. Osahon came on board, got positioned as a titanium and platinum member, and he's doing pretty well. $18,826. Now, he couldn't be here this weekend, but still not too bad. $20,000. If you want to hold that up, Terry. All right. Now, you guys are going to have to cramp up a little bit because we've got a few. Next guy is not here this weekend, but he kind of was in spirit. Robbie Gonzalez. And Robbie is getting $18,383. Not too bad. Robbie got a young family, 2 kids, just got the Mercedes. So it's really good to see Robbie doing well. Thanks, Dave. All right. Now, Paul Holdsworth. Paul Holdsworth is actually Paul Holdsworth from the UK. $24,414. Paul Holdsworth. He became a platinum member. By the way, every single one of these people are platinum members. Paul's a platinum member. Got his first titanium and platinum commission about 2 weeks ago. He's one of the guys that I called and woke up at 2 a.m. to tell him, hey, Paul, you just got $8,000. And you know what's really cool about that? If you want to head down there. Yeah, just in front of those. What's really cool, that sale where he got $8,000, that actually wasn't one of his. He had a licensee under him, And that licensee then went and got sales. And one of their sales stepped up. So the $8,000 got passed up to Paul. Now, Paul right now, I spoke with him about 2 weeks ago. He's going through, we all go through difficult times where, things happen. And he's going through a difficult time, and I hope he doesn't mind me sharing this. When he got $8,000 out of the blue, he was ecstatic because he really needed the $8,000 at the time. So that's what I love. When people get residual incomes of, $8,000 and they don't even know it's coming. Next, one of my favorites. Junjun Lee, $29,958. The guy came from China about 3 years ago to New York, barely speaking a word of English, got into internet marketing last year.
Thank you.
Right on. Didn't really know what he was doing in the beginning, got positioned as a platinum member at that event last year at the Nitrous. That was the event. He's driving around the Mercedes now as well. You'll see his video later on tomorrow. Now this guy is actually from my home city, David Jukes. Does anyone know David? Yep. David Jukes, he's actually from Perth, Australia. David's actually a software engineer. He'd be young 30. He's got a wife, a small child, and David actually just qualified for the Mercedes. Thanks. David actually just qualified for the Mercedes, and we actually had a video made of David, so you'll be seeing that tomorrow. But that's excellent. And David, I'll tell you the story in just a little bit. He's also getting pass-ups. Next guy, this guy came out of nowhere. Ken Faminoff. Welcome, Ken, to the stage. $34,919. No, Ken, 2 days ago, he got a license rate sale through my top-tier business. Wasn't even expecting it. That's the beauty of this system. It works on autopilot. Well done, Ken.
Thanks.
Well done. All right. Getting bigger. Carolina Millen from Chile. $37,662. Not too bad. Platinum member. She just got the Merc. You all saw the Merc. Well done, Carolina. That's her. Well done, Carolina. All the way from Chile. This guy was actually one of the very first licensees ever. Brian Price. Anyone know Brian? Brian was an engineer. 2 young kids. Didn't like that lifestyle. I've always been working. Decided to get involved in Moog. Well done, Brian. He's doing pretty well. Platinum member as well. Here tomorrow, she's a little bit late getting in, Andrea Goodset. You saw Andrea's video. $63,788. Who'd like to make that? 63 grand in commissions. Not too bad. All right. Now this guy is the definition of a machine. Terry Lamb. Platinum member Terry Lamb. This guy, I've never seen anyone come into the Mob License Rates program and just tear it up. Over $50,000 in his first month in license sales alone. Got position. He came to Fiji for the Platinum Mastermind. $71,628. Well done, Terry.
Thank you.
All right. Now this guy is not actually here, but you'll all know this guy. Jonathan Budd. Anyone know Jonathan? Jonathan Budd, $127,000. Now Jonathan, you all know Jonathan. He's got his own deal going. He's got his own 7-figure business. He sent out a couple of emails over the past year or so. This is just pure residual income for him, but not bad, 127K. Who do we have? And finally, approaching $250,000. Pure commissions, John Chow. You notice his check. His check has almost doubled from last time, from just March, a few months ago. He's closing in on the $250,000 level very, very fast. Well done to John Chow. Well done. All right. So guys, I want you all to stand up and really congratulate these people because they're making it happen. I mean, they're doing it, right? Let's actually get a few photos as well. Let me stand here. Let's put this down here. Let's just get a few photos. We'll say to our leads, come join us. You can be up here too. So guys, those of you who are sitting down, you just see all of these people come up. You see them making money. Do you see that this is very real? There are people making big money in Moab, and the checks are only going to get bigger. My top tier business, we introduced it 2 months ago. It's still brand new. It's starting to crank out sales on the back end. Every single day we're getting titanium platinum sales coming in. People making those 3K, 5K commissions. They're getting pass-ups. They're getting residuals. I have no doubt that soon we're going to have people who cross the $1 million mark in commissions. So it's very exciting. And what I want to talk about, guys, what I want to spend the last session tonight talking about before we all go to the dinner or we go and do whatever we want to do, I want to talk about how you're going to get to the next level, how you're going to get up here on stage getting your own check. So if you can bring up my slides, please, that's what I want to share with you. I'm calling this the missing secret that 7-figure income earners use to build their wealth. Because there is a missing secret. There's one thing that has been more responsible for the results of these people up here on the stage who just got those big checks and my own results than anything else. I want to start out by asking you, and guys, I really need your participation here. I want to know, tell me, just help me out here. Who has ever wondered what it would be like to travel the world, to be able to go to Fiji, Cabo San Lucas, all of these exotic locations? Put your hand up high if you've ever thought about that. What would that be like? To be able to just get on a plane and go to these beautiful places. To earn instant $3,000 and $5,000 commissions. Who would like to get a message from me at night on Facebook saying, hey, you just made a 3K commission. You just made a 5K commission. Who would like to spend more time with your family? Who here has a family, right? I'm guessing that's one of the biggest reasons why you're in this business. You don't want to be going to that job. You want to be spending more time at home doing what you love, being with your family. How many of you would like me to share how to make more money in Moab? Whatever you're making now, how do we take this to the next level? How do we get you up here on stage getting a big check? How many of you would like me to share how you can be driving a Merc? You see these people getting a Merc, they're just regular people in Moab. Okay, and they started promoting. Who would like to be driving a Merc in the next 30 days? I'm being serious, in the next 30 days. Not next year, in the next 30 days, who wants a brand new Merc in their driveway with me paying for it? How many of you want to come hang out with millionaires in Mexico and Fiji? How many of you want to be there, rub shoulders with the titans of this industry? That's what you're about to discover, guys. I want to walk you through how you can get paid these instant 3K and 5K commissions, how to make an extra $250,000 in the next 12 months. I mean, that's what you came here for, right? Right? How to get all expenses paid holidays around the world. Have me pay for your accommodation, your food, your drinks, your entertainment. Who would like to do that? How to add an extra 0 to your income. Now, hopefully you're not going to say, well, my income's already 0. All right? I knew I should have taken that out because I knew that interpretation. But the power of the mastermind, where this all comes down to, is the power of the mastermind. This is really what got me to the next level. My promise to you, if you stick with me over this last session before we wrap up, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to do this, and I'm going to share with you things that 98% of this industry don't get. They don't know, and that's why they continue to struggle year after year. It's time for you to get your Merc. You're seeing these people getting their Merc, and throughout tomorrow we're going to show you some more videos, but more and more people are getting their Merc, and it's time for you to get yours. So I want you to start thinking about, which Merc do I want? I want you to get very clear on which model you want. What color is that Merc going to be? What's the first song that you're going to play when you climb into that brand new Mercedes and you have that smell of that new leather car smell and you bring your family in? What are you going to play on that first cruise? I want you to get very clear about this. Why? Because unless you're very clear about where you're headed and what you want, it's not going to come into fruition. Now, what is a mastermind? Does anyone know what a mastermind is? Anyone want to tell me? Yeah, Kelly. Right. So a group of people that are like-minded, that come together, complement each other, different gifts and talents. Yeah, that's one good definition. Anyone else? How do you define a mastermind? I want to tell you. This is how I define it. It's when a group of people get together, and the most important thing is you get the right people in the room. You get the right people in the room, and it's a case of 1 + 1 not equaling 2, but equaling 3. Brilliant things come out of a room of the right people. Higher level thinking. This is how you're going to get to the next level. Okay? Now, why mastermind? Why is this so crucially important? Have you ever heard the idea that the 5 people that you hang around most are those who you become? Who's ever heard that? You heard that before. It's true. All right, the people that you associate with, those people that you go and get advice from when it comes to business, have a huge impact on where you are in your own business. It's a fast track to your success. We all start out at point A, right, which is having no clue what we're doing on the internet. Right, we all start out there. I started out there in 2008. I really had no clue. And we're all trying to get to point B. For most of us, point B is driving the Merc, having these residual income streams coming in, getting these 3K, 5K commissions, and having it operate largely on autopilot, so we're not chained to our desk 12 hours a day. Right, that's where we're all trying to get, point A to point B. Now, most of the time when you go from point A to point B, you're making a series of mistakes, ups and downs, having these challenges. You know what always turned me on and got me excited? It was the idea of, what if I could skip all of that? What if I could go from point A to point B and skip over all of that BS? Okay, all of that struggle. And that's essentially what I did in my own business, and that's what I want to show you how to do. There are shortcuts. There are definitely shortcuts to get ahead in this industry. True learning is experiential. There's different levels of learning. At one point, you can be sitting behind your computer watching a video info product. Now, you come to an internet marketing seminar like this. What do you think is a higher level of learning? What do you think? Being here, right? Obviously being here. But we can even take this to a step further, because even here you're passively receiving from me. For example, John, are you asleep? I thought you were asleep. See, it is possible that you can be here and listening, and you can start to tune out. Okay, you can start to tune out. But when you go to a mastermind, now you're actually engaged. Now you're actually involved. It's a much more experiential thing. When you are sitting there on a jet ski, racing along next to Joe Sugarman. Who knows who Joe Sugarman is? You've all heard of him. If you haven't and you're in marketing, I'm worried. You haven't heard of Joe Sugarman? Guy's been around for decades. He's wrote some of the best books on direct response marketing. Who's heard of Blue Blocker sunglasses? He was the guy who launched that company, sold millions and millions and millions of pairs. This guy is a legend, and he is speaking at our Titanium Mastermind in 2 months. This guy's done, like, I would say, in the hundreds of millions. This is the kind of people that you're going to be learning from in person. That kind of learning, that's very rare. It's very rare that you get the opportunity to do that. But when you're in the right mastermind, it's possible. Look at the CEOs of most billion-dollar companies, right? Are they running that company all on their own? Or do they have a board of directors? They have a board of directors, right? People who have a little bit more experience than them in different areas. For example, Bill Gates. You all know who Bill Gates is, right? One of the smartest business people on the planet. Guess who's on his board of directors? Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett, another multi-billionaire at one time worth more than Bill Gates, investing billionaire. So even someone at that level operating a multi-billion-dollar company has his own board of directors. Okay, you need to have this guidance. I have guidance myself. Last week I flew to Florida and I paid a man $10,000 for 9 hours of his time to go to his office, to work on a part of my business. By the way, if you're wondering who that was and what he taught me, he's actually speaking at our next Titanium Mastermind. But that's why you've got to be in a mastermind, guys. Bigger checks, more money. What do you notice? What was the one standout thing? All of those checks lined up along the wall there. What do you notice about every single one of those names? They are all in the Platinum Mastermind, right? Every single one of them except maybe one or two. But look at the percentages. It's no accident. All right, they're learning from the right people and their checks are going up. More time with your family. You learn this, you learn how to do this right, you've got more time at home with your family. Now guys, here's the thing. The opportunity is now. It's so easy to put this off, to think, oh, okay, I'm going to get positioned in 3 months or next year or when the timing's right. The time is now, okay? Time is money. The longer you wait, the worse things get. Things don't improve automatically on their own. If you don't decide now today, then when? When do you decide? The time is always now. You want to know the biggest secret to any success I've had? My first 2 years in this industry, I used to procrastinate on everything. I knew, for example, I should do my first webinar. It took me about a year to work up the nerve to do that because I didn't feel like I was a guru or that I could do that. It took me a long time to do my first event or create my first product. Then I hit a turning point, mid-2011, and I realized, look, I'm never going to be ready. The time is now, and I'm going to learn by doing. I'm going to stop procrastinating, and I'm just going to start doing. And I've been running ever since. Okay, that has been the single biggest success factor. I just do things now. Successful people, unsuccessful people think of reasons why they can't. Successful people think of reasons how. Okay, if I present an opportunity to you right now, there's always going to be a percentage of the population who respond to that opportunity with a statement. There's going to be a smaller minority who respond to that opportunity with a question. The statement is going to be something like, oh, I can't do it. Okay, I can't do it for some reason. They'll always have a reason. This smaller percentage of the population, they respond by asking the question, how can I do it? What if this did work? Do you see the difference? Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Yeah. I want to tell you a little story. You guys have heard I'm a fairly frugal guy, right? And in the beginning, that wasn't by way of choice. When I first started out, this was my car. 1981 Toyota Corona. It was a hand-me-down from my grandma who was developing, she was getting pretty old and she couldn't drive anymore. So they said, well, she's got this old car, and I was like 21 at the time, and I thought, hey, all right, this will be my first car. So we go back to 2009. I've just invested in this business. I've invested $2,000, and then shortly after that, another $38,000. And I'm really, really hungry to make this work. I want this to work so bad. So I remember one moment, and this moment was probably like one of the lowest points in my whole 4 or 5 years online. So I'm investing in this company, and I'm trying everything I can to get sales. And what would happen is I would somehow get my lead. Okay, I would get a lead. I was like doing some ads on Google AdWords back when that was an option, and I would get a lead in Perth, the city where I lived. And if that meant I had to then drive to their house an hour away to present my opportunity in person, I would do it. So I drove all the way to the other side of the city to meet this lady who said she was interested in this business. And I'm kind of excited. I think, hey, this could be my first sale. And I parked my car about a block up the road so she doesn't see it. Because I'm putting forth this image I'm meant to be of success. You know, I'm this young guy who's succeeding in his home business. I'm ashamed of my car, right? So I hired the car, go and see her, spend about 2 hours doing my whole spiel. And of course, I don't sell anything, okay? I didn't know what I was doing. I get back in the car, and the whole way back, I'm just feeling deflated. And by this point, I mean, I'd been at this for about 5-6 months, and I'm feeling pretty kind of down about it. And I remember pulling into the driveway and parking on the grass. And it was my mother's house because I'd gone to see her. And then I noticed that my grandma was there as well. So they're inside. I'm about to go inside. It's a hot day, and I look down at my phone and I see a missed call. I see a missed call from this prospect. Now this lady was a little bit crazy. She was like literally a little bit crazy. Anyone ever had any leads like that? Crazy people. Yeah, Terry's putting his hand up. On YouTube, you'll find them everywhere. This lady was a little bit crazy, but I was desperate. And I'd been talking to her for about 2 months, putting up with her abuse, because I thought, hey, she might buy and then I'll get the $1,000 commission. So I see the missed call. I call her back. I call her back on my cell phone. It's costing me $1 per minute because she's on a cell phone and I'm on like the wrong plan. Now at this point, I'm down to about $700 in my bank account. So I call her back, and as soon as she picks up, she starts abusing me, saying, Matt, you need to do this for me. Matt, you need to create the system. You need to support your team better. She hadn't even brought anything yet. And I'm like nodding, yes, Layla, yes, okay, I understand. For 45 minutes, I put up with this abuse. And by the end of it, I hang up the phone, and the whole time she's yelling, I'm thinking, my bank account is like dwindling down, you know. I don't have a lot left. And I remember sitting there after that call in this car. It's hot. The car stinks. It's like 25 years old. And I just thought, why is this so hard for me? Why can't I get this to work? I'm seeing other people in this company doing well, and I'm not getting ahead here. And I know that now I have to go inside, and I'm going to get the questions from my mother and grandma. They're going to ask, oh, how's the business going? Have you made any money yet? And I'm going to have to say, no, I haven't. So that was like the low point. And I started thinking, what am I doing wrong here? Why isn't this working for me? And I started to think objectively about it. And I realized, well, who are my teachers? Who am I learning from? And I started to think about it. It's the amount of money at this point in time. Who am I learning from? And you see, this company had just taken off in Australia. They were starting to do very, very well. So there were actually like 20, 30, 50 people, who knows, in this city, Perth, who were in this company. They weren't in my team, of course, but they were in this company. So we all decided, we somehow met online, let's meet up. Let's meet up and let's start having like a mastermind. So we would go down to the local bar, and at the first one we went to, there were about 15 of us. Okay, I'm one of the younger ones, and there's all kinds of different people there. There's 15 of us, and we're all excited about this business. We're all excited. We decide we're going to meet up every week and discuss strategies. We meet up, 15 people there. Next week we meet up, and we're down to about 13. The week after that, we're down to about 11. Over the weeks, it got lower and lower, till it got to the point where there were like 5 of us hanging on who still hadn't made any money. This was our mastermind. This is effectively what we would do. We would get there around 3. We'd start having a few drinks, trying to remain optimistic, but none of us were making any money. And we'd stay there till like 7. We didn't drink that much, but we almost did. And I thought, these are my 4 or 5 closest business advisors. Can you imagine Bill Gates getting advice from these 4 guys? This was essentially my mastermind, and I realized, hey, I've been getting my advice from the wrong people. The difference between me and the top earners in the company are those that I'm associating with and I'm learning from in business. That's really what it was about. Let me back up 1 second. I want you to do something right now. I want you to take out a pen. Take out your pen, and I want you to write down right now, who are the 5 people that you go to for business advice. Forget about like personal relationship advice or anything like that. Let's just talk about business. Now, write it down, because if you don't write it down, you're not going to get the benefit of this example. So everyone write it down. Let's take like 30 seconds. All right, now what I want you to do, those 5 people, I want you to write a number next to each of their names. How much do you think, roughly, how much are they making per year? Roughly, how much are they making? You think they're doing $50,000 a year, a couple $100,000 per year? I want you to do that for those 5. And now what I want you to do is look at that list as a whole, and what is the average income of those 5 people? Now, let's try a little exercise. Who here in this room can say that the average income of those 5 people is over $100,000 per year, those business advisors? Who can say that? John, can you say that? Your 5 closest business advisors online in internet marketing are making over 100 grand per year? Who here can say that? Now, what do you notice? Those with their hands up, put them up high so everyone can see. Guys, put up your hands. Have a look at those people. Chris, John, Mike, Terry, Ken. What do you notice? A lot of them are the ones up here getting the big checks. Do you think that's by accident? The people you hang around with and that you mastermind with have a bigger impact on your success than anything else. So getting back to that story, I'm in this mastermind. I realized I'm in the wrong mastermind. I need to be learning from the right people. Who are the right people? Well, who's getting the best results? And I look at this company, I think, who's the top dog in this company? Who is making the most? And it was a guy, I won't tell you his last name, but his first name is Jeremy. Okay, now Jeremy just so happened to be making about $1.1 million per year in the company, in pure commissions in his pocket. Makes a lot more today. But this is several years ago. Somehow, I reach out to Jeremy. And he doesn't really take me that seriously at first, but I reach out to him and I ask him, how are you doing it? Now, he sees that I'm pretty serious. He sees that I'm invested all in this company. And I'm able to get him to send me the script, okay, the phone script that he was using to get these high ticket sales. And he said to me, do not pass that around. Don't go passing that around. That's just for select people, okay? You can have it, keep it private. So it's like this 14-page script with all these questions and hypothetical answers. So shortly after that, I get a prospect, and I call back this prospect, and I'm reading through this script. Okay, I'm reading through this script, and she could probably tell I'm reading almost word for word, but I'm trying to read it naturally. And I get to the end, and the end is basically asking for the commitment. Would she like to invest in the higher ticket programs as part of this business? And she actually says yes. She says yes. Now, I don't get too excited because those of us in sales, we all know that until the money is in the bank, we don't know whether the sale was made. Who's had that happen before? You have someone say, oh yeah, I'm going to become a licensee, and they don't, right? We've all had that happen. So I don't get too excited. 2 days later, I'm sitting down on my couch. I'm renting from my parents' house and sharing with my sister. And I'm sitting there on the couch, laptop in my lap, and I actually see 2 emails come in telling me that I've got a sale of the $9,000 and a sale of the $15,000 program in this company. I cannot explain what that feeling is like. When you've spent so long trying to make this work and you're down to your last few $100s, my commission on that, by the way, was about $15,000. When you suddenly have $15,000 come in, I mean, who would like to experience that? $15,000 in a day when you're not expecting it, when you really need it, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I remember just feeling so ecstatic. I had finally got it. And why had I got it? Because I had learned from the right people. Okay, I had sought out the person that I wanted to become, at least in business, that I wanted to emulate, and I'd learned directly from the source. Not my buddies at the bar. Okay, do you see? Does everyone see how that works? Do you really get this, right? You get it. So lessons learned from the first time around. It was really hard for me in the beginning, and I decided that if I ever built a direct sales company, which I was already thinking of at that point, that I would do things differently. Because one thing I knew is that I couldn't bring people into this company and have them go through what I went through. I mean, I was a young guy. No mortgage, no kids, no spouse, not a whole lot of commitments, so I could put time into the business. A lot of you here, I mean, who's got kids? Who's got family? Who's got a mortgage? I mean, you guys have a lot more going on than I perhaps did at 22, right? So the idea of spending 2 years trying to figure this out, most of you, maybe you wouldn't go through that. So I decided, look, if I ever create a direct sales company, we're going to do things differently. First of all, you're not going to make the calls. We're going to make the calls for you. And I'm going to go and hire the best phone sales people in the industry to be getting these deals for you, to be making these calls for you. Who here is comfortable selling $15,000 programs on the phone? You notice not too many hands go up, right? It's not something that we all do. It's something that you learn over years and years and years of practice. Those on our phone team have been doing it for years and years and years. They're very good. You get paid quickly. We are switching, those of you in Titanium and Platinum, we are switching to a 2-week payout period. Instead of 45 days, now you get paid 2 weeks after the sale. Does that sound good? Yeah. I thought, why not? Okay, why not do that for our top partners? 2 weeks, you make a sale, get paid quickly, get paid fast. And you would have our unlimited support. You would have our training walking you through exactly how you need to do this. Now guys, here's the truth. People ask me, why did you invest in the higher ticket programs in that company even though you hadn't yet made a sale? Why did you do that? Why didn't you just wait until you got your first few sales first and then invest? In fact, I'll tell you a little story. I went and saw my accountant. This would have been early 2009. I go and see my accountant, and I have some savings in the bank, and I tell my accountant that I'm about to invest $38,000 in this company. $38,000. And he looks at me like I'm kind of this young, naive kid who's about to be taken advantage of. That's how he kind of looks at me, and he's like, I'm not so sure, Matt. I've heard of those things before. I'm not so sure that you should do it. But I looked at his income and I thought, Guy, you're making probably about $60,000 per year. You mean well, but I'm not going to take my financial advice from you. Now, I didn't say that, but I've always been of the mind that if you want to learn how to make a lot of money, you don't learn from people doing average. You learn from people making a lot of money. Who follows, right? Who gets it? Who agrees with that? So I realized that in the beginning, look, if I'm going to be recommending this program, this high-ticket program with integrity, I need to be positioned. I need to be setting the example for my lead. And that's exactly what I did. I got fully positioned from the very start, and it was the best thing I ever did. You know why? At one point, I'd invested $2,000. When I got fully positioned, now I'd invested $40,000. That's what it was for this company. Do you think you treat a $2,000 business like you treat a $40,000 business? Way different. Now I treated it like a $40,000 business, and I took it really, really serious. Now people ask me, why do you do this? Why do you work 7 days a week, 14 hours a day, Christmas, New Year's? Why do you put everything else on hold for this business? People love to call me a workaholic. Anyone ever get called a workaholic by your family? I get called that all the time. They say, you're a workaholic. Why do you do this? I do this because, guys, I see an opportunity here. I see a big opportunity. We've got some momentum behind us, but, I mean, you ought to wait and see what we're going to be doing together as a company 2, 3, 5 years from now. We're going to take over this industry. Really, we are. And my goal, my very public goal, is to get to $20 million in revenue by the end of this year. Now, is that for me? Not really. I mean, sure, I like some of it. But who's going to get most of the 20 million? Our partners, right? You guys. You guys are. You guys, the people on our phone team, basically the people who bring in results for the company, are going to get a big piece of that $20 million. Who'd like a piece of the $20 million? You want a piece of it, it's there for you. Okay, you decide how much of that you want. But make no mistake, it is going into your hands. Now here's the key. Masterminds are good, but you've got to be in the right mastermind. There's a difference between the wrong mastermind and the right mastermind. The right mastermind, it's all about the right people in the room. The right mastermind equals freedom. You get this part right, everything else becomes a lot easier in your life. But I know it's hard in the beginning. It's hard, right? A lot of you, you're struggling because you've been in internet marketing for a while, but you're still not making the kind of dollars that you originally signed up for. Who can relate to that, right? You're still not making the kind of money that you'd like to be making. Commissions are too small. As a licensee, you're making up to $1,200 per sale, which is good. However, is it enough? In most cases, yeah, it's okay. But what if you were making $9,000 instead of $1,000? Do you think that makes a big difference to your bottom line? Absolutely it does. I can't get leads. Who struggles to get good leads? Who struggles? Are you all lead pros? Do you all get all the leads you want? Or do you struggle with that area? Yeah, a lot of people do, and I did too. In the very beginning, I really struggled getting those leads. I don't have a coach or a mastermind. A lot of people are kind of fumbling their way through the dark trying to figure this out. They don't have someone looking over their shoulder guiding them in the right direction. You need to have someone on your side who's going to help you. Last of all, you're hanging out with all the wrong people. You've got to get around the right people. If you hang around with people who are negative about this whole online business thing and think it's a big joke, that's not going to help. I mean, part of the reason why I moved out of home to go and live on my own in the beginning was because there was so much negativity around this online business that I was doing that I knew that if I stayed there, I was never going to get free. Okay, because I came from a family that's very employee-minded. This whole thing makes them very uncomfortable. So, and can't make high-ticket sales on the phone. A lot of people can't make high-ticket sales. So here's the solution, guys. You've got to get in the right mastermind. You've got to be in titanium and platinum. This is what is going to get you to the next level. These are the people you need to be learning from. Joe Sugarman, Mike Hill. Anyone know Mike Hill? One of the best paid media experts on the planet. James Schramko, one of the top super affiliates from down under in Australia. Curtis Broom. I don't know if Curtis is here. There he is. CEO of a $300 million per year network marketing company. These are the right people that you need to get around. And these are the kind of people that we bring to these masterminds. Now, what's different about these masterminds? You know, we're not the only ones offering masterminds. Has anyone seen any other masterminds out there? You've seen them, right? What separates these? They're better. Who here was in Fiji? Okay, who here was in Fiji at the Platinum Mastermind? Was that, and be honest with me, don't just tell me this because I'm up here asking you, but was that not a freaking good mastermind, right? You loved it. I mean, I loved it. Everyone loved it. We had about 100 people fly in. Apparently only one person loved it. We had about 100 people fly in from around the world in Fiji. It was amazing. They loved it. This actually works. People are making money with it. Look at all the checks down the side there. People are actually getting results with this. Most masterminds don't allow you to make 3K and 5K commissions. Most don't. You go and join the typical mastermind, they don't allow you to promote it, and they sure as hell don't make the sales for you on the phone. We do. And these are actually for two. That means that if you come to one of our masterminds, you get to bring your spouse. If you don't have a spouse, bring a business partner, or a child, or a parent, or a sibling, or just some lucky person who's going to be very happy. They're going to show up, and everything's going to be paid for. It's a very nice gift to give someone. I mean, who's got an idea of who they want to bring to these masterminds in mind? Start thinking about it. Who is that special person in your life who you'd like to give this gift to? You'd like to go home. You'd like to call them tonight and say, hey, pack your bags. We're going to Cabo San Lucas in 2 months, and it's all paid for. You know, coaching done for you components. Most masterminds don't work with you after the mastermind one-on-one on the phone to help you get to the next level. Now, some common myths. That's a lot of money. Who's going to invest? If you are promoting masterminds, masterminds are a higher ticket item. They can be in the tens of thousands of dollars. Who's going to buy? Be honest with me. Does anyone have that concern in mind? You think, who on my list has an extra $20,000, $30,000, $40,000? Who's going to invest in the mastermind? Some of you. I used to think about that too. Here's my answer to that. It's never about whether they have the money or not. It's about how badly they want it. Let me paint a picture for you of how this works. This isn't a very nice example, but it's something that you're going to remember and allows me to make my point. I want you to think of the person that you love the most in this world. Get a picture of that person in your mind, and let's pretend, let's hope this never happens, but let's pretend they developed a terminal illness. And it was a new illness, a new sickness that no one had ever seen before, and it gave them 7 days to live. This person that you love has 7 days to live. A couple days into it, a doctor from Switzerland comes up with a miracle solution. Okay, it's one injection, but this one injection cures them completely. Now there's no other option, there's no other cure for this disease except this one injection, but it's very, very expensive to produce. It's $40,000. Now, who here in 5 days would be able to get together $40,000 to save the life of that person you love? One or two of you don't have your hands up. I wouldn't want to be that love person. Okay? I would hope that all of you can. I mean, really, come on. You could. What would you do? You'd sell your car. Sell your house. You'd steal it if you had to. I mean, this is the person you love the most in the world. You would do, hopefully you would do whatever you had to. Do you see my point? The whole idea of I don't have the money, or I do or I don't, it really comes down to the degree of desire. And that's how it is with your prospects. If you make them the right offer, I've had people say that, look, Matt, I'm never going to invest in that high ticket program. 3 months later, they do it. Trust me, if you have the right offer, they will. If you have the right marketing, they will. This is just another IM event. Are these masterminds just another internet marketing seminar? Absolutely not. You go to one of these masterminds, it's a whole other level. Ask anyone who was in Fiji at our last Platinum Mastermind. It's incredible. I mean, we rented out jet skis, we were going to islands, some of us went skydiving, but that's the kind of thing when you're doing these activities with these really smart people and you're getting that one-on-one and you're in that informal environment, there's no better way to learn than at a mastermind. Now guys, I want you to write these down. These are what I call my 5 prosperity principles. Okay, these are everything. Principle number 1, know what you want. Okay, write these down because this is really the foundation. Any results I've had have come back to these 5 principles. Principle number 2, join the right mastermind. The right mastermind. Principle number 3, follow the right plan and strategy. Principle number 4, find a coach that's been where you want to go. Okay, and we are going to go through these one by one. And then, automate and outsource. Okay, automate and outsource. Let's go through them one by one, and you'll have a moment to write them down. In fact, before we do, let me tell you a little story, because it relates to principle number 1, know what you want. Let's go back to 2009. I'm in that company, and I get in a plane, and I fly all the way from Perth to Sydney. Just to give you guys an idea, if you don't know Australia, that's like flying from LA to New York, completely other sides of the country. I've invested at this point 40 grand in this company. Again, I'm down to like my last $700 in the bank. So it's not, you know, I had to be pretty careful about where I flew to back then because it would make a pretty big dent in my savings. But I fly all the way to this event for this company. Somehow, on the Sunday, day 3 of that event, I end up sitting next to the founder of this company. And I'm like 22. Young, shy kid, and I'm looking up to this guy who I think is at the time is like a god. I think, wow. And I end up sitting next to this guy, and this guy's a big guy. He's got big chubby hands, and his hand is resting right there next to me. And I look down at his hand, and he's wearing this big diamond ring. And he sees me looking at it. And he says, and I knew what the diamond ring was. It was called the Freedom Ring. And if you got 100 sales in this company of their 2K deal, you would get this big ring, and it was like $10,000. So he sees me looking at it, and he says, you want to try it on? I'm like, sure. And I've got pretty small hands, so this guy's got big, chubby hands. He takes up the ring and it's like 5 sizes too big for me. But I'm looking down at it and I pull out my iPhone and I take a photo of it, okay, just like that. And I save that to my iPhone, and for the next year, when I get back home, for the next year, I'm looking at that every single day. And that is what my life becomes about. I've got to get the freedom ring. Not because I'm into big, flashy jewelry. I'm actually not, which is kind of hypocritical. But it's not because of that. It's because of what it symbolizes. To me, that would symbolize I had made it. I'd proved everyone around me who didn't support the business wrong. So my life became about getting that ring. Now, I decided that if I ever started a direct sales company, we were going to do something similar, but our ring would be better. So this ring, it's actually made out of platinum metal. Do you know that platinum is what they call the king of precious metals? It's worth more than gold. This is made out of platinum. It's got about 39 diamonds in it. Retails for about 15 grand. I will buy you one of these rings when you sell 20 platinum masterminds. Who thinks they can do that? Who thinks they can sell 20 platinum masterminds? So guys, you can decide whether you want to do this or not. And there's a few ladies in the crowd too. Don't worry, I'll get something less masculine for you. We'll get a different design. But have a target, right? Have a target. For me, it was just getting to that target. 100 sales. That was my target. So know what you want. You got to know what you want. What are your income targets? Now, I want you to write this down now. I do not want you going home without having clarity on exactly what you want, because if you do, it's not going to happen. What are your income targets? How much would you like to be making? How much in commissions would you like to have made 12 months from now? What kind of house do you want to be living in? Are you happy where you are, or do you want to move out into a new house? What kind of car do you want? Okay, what kind of car do you want? Do you want a Merc? What Merc do you want? Get very clear on exactly what you want. I'm telling you, this is everything. I'm not just saying this because it sounds good. It actually is everything. You've got to get very clear on what you want. What exactly would your ideal life look like? What would it look like? How would you live your day-to-day life? What kind of things would you do that you're not doing right now? So John got pretty clear on what he wanted. He's driving a $130,000 Merc around San Diego or wherever he is, somewhere over there in California. Do you think this happened by accident? Do you think you get that kind of car in Moab just by chance? He got very clear on exactly what he wanted, and he got to work, and he started promoting. That's what you've got to do. You want the car, you want the rewards, you want the big checks, you want to spend more time with your family. Get very clear on what you want. You've got to have that crystal clear vision. There's his check for last time, $128,000. This one you saw over $200,000 a few months later. Principle number 2, join the right mastermind. Surround yourself with successful people. Getting to events like these are some of the best things you can do. I mean, you guys made a really smart choice being here. We have well over 1,000 licensees. This is the cream of the crop. I'm telling you because a lot of them had the chance, they had the opportunity to be here. They chose to ignore it for whatever reason. You guys got here, and very, very good things are going to come out of this. So you're in the right room. Learn from other people's mistakes, okay? Don't try and figure this out all on your own. 3 months ago, I made a mistake that cost me well over $100,000 with our CRM. Okay, it had something to do with where we store all of our customers. If I could go back in time and make a very small tweak, I would have saved myself about $100,000. That was a pretty expensive mistake, and I wish I'd learned from someone else's mistakes then. Create strategic alliances. These people that you're sitting near, there's some very smart people in this room. There are people that are going places. Get to know these people. I'm telling you, come along to the VIP dinner tonight. Network with these people. Jot down their details and follow up when you get home. Accountability. One of the best things about being in a mastermind, it creates true accountability. You see these people and you're like, okay, next time I'm going to see you at the Home Business Summit. Here's what I'm going to have done. They do the same for you, and you help keep each other accountable.